Hi everyone, welcome to Simple Concepts. I'm your educator Niyati Pearl. Guys, this video is the part 2 of communalism, meaning and its issues. In this particular video, we will discuss some more points based on this particular issue. And before we start up with our actual lecture, let me tell you all, you can get all the notes in the form of PDFs in our Telegram group. The link of the group is given in the description below. If you're unable to use that particular link, then just go to your Telegram account. In the search bar, just type Simple Concepts UPSC. There you will be able to find our group. So having said that, let's start with our today's lecture. So this particular lecture will focus on consequences of communalism. We will also discuss what state has done, and then what are the other steps that are required, and challenges on social media and freedom of expression based on communalism, and many more such points. So let's start. So speaking about consequences of communalism. So consequences of communalism is well known to all of us. With killings in mass, the real sufferers are the poor. They lost their house, their near and the dear ones, their lives and their livelihoods, etc. It violates the human rights from all directions. Sometimes children will lose their parents and they will become orphan for lifetime, and nobody will be there to look after them. Ghettoizations and refugee problems is also the other dimension of communalism which induced in violence. Now, whether it's inter-country or intra-country, a sudden increase in violence against any particular community, it causes mass exodus and stampede, which in turn turns and it kills number of people. So for example, if we go to see, so it so happened in 2012, this was seen that in case of Bangalore, with respect to people from northeastern states, which was stimulated by a rumor. So apart from having effect on the society, it is also a threat to Indian constitutional values, which promotes secularism and religious tolerance. In that case, citizens don't fulfill their fundamental duties towards the nation. So it becomes a threat for the unity and integrity of the nation as a whole. It also promotes only the feeling of hatred in all directions, dividing the society on communal lines. Other than this, minorities are viewed with suspicion by all, including state authorities like police, paramilitary forces, army, intelligence agencies, etc. Now, there have been many instances when people from such community have been harassed and detained and finally have been released by court on orders of guilt-free. For this, there is no provision of compensation of such victims about their livelihood, income foregone against, or social stigmas and emotional trauma of the families. Such things are setbacks for the society and it becomes barrier for the development. So this is also one of the reasons which is keeping India still under the status of developing nation, that I would say, and because of such activities occurring frequently do harm the human resources and economy of the country. And then again, it takes years for people and the affected regions to come out of the traumas of such violence, having deep impact on the minds of those who have faced it. The whole life they have been they are forced to live emotionally broken and insecure. How can we imagine in such conditions for timely harvest of demographic dividend? Having said that, let's move on to our next slide. So before moving on to what are the steps that the state has taken, or the social media, and what are the challenges the social media and the freedom of expression faces because of this, let us first understand what the state has done. So there was this National Human Rights Commission, which we also known as NHRC in India, which fights for the cause of rights of the victim. But its recommendations are advisory in nature, which doesn't give significant outcome. So from time to time, respective governments have constituted various committees to give recommendations to solve the issue of communal violence. So prominent among them are the SACHAR Sachar Committee, the Nanavati Committee, the Ranganath Mishra Committee, etc. So the Nanavati Mehta Commission set up by Gujarat government in 2002 to inquire about the Gujarat violence. So Sachar committee was appointed in 2005, which was recommended to set up Equal Opportunity Commission, or which is also known as EOC, in 2010. So EOC basically was set up for the grievances at redressal mechanism for all the individual cases of discrimination, religion, caste, gender and physical ability, among others. Also, the Ranganath Mishra Commission was entrusted by the Government of India to suggest practical measures for the upliftment of socially and economically backward sections among religious and linguistic minorities, and to include the modalities of implementation for the same. The report of the National Commission for Religious and Linguistic Minorities, headed by the former Chief Justice of India Ranganath Mishra, says that the 10% of the reserved says that the 10% should be reserved for Muslims and 5% for the other minorities in central and state government jobs in all the cadre and the grades. So the purpose of above committees was to give recommendations to find out the causes of backwardness of minorities and steps required to improve their conditions. The Indian law defines communal violence as any act or series of acts, whether spontaneous or planned, resulting in injury or harm to the person and or property, knowingly directed against any person by virtue of his or her membership of any religious or linguistic minority in any state in Union of India or scheduled caste and scheduled tribes within the meaning of clause 24 and 25 of the article 366 of the Constitution of India. So though India is under the grip of communal violence, but till now, other than the provisions under IPC and the Criminal Procedure Code, there is no firm law to punish the originators of such violence, no clear policy for relief and rehabilitations of the victims. There is no regulations for security of witness, for accountability of public servants, etc. Now, Prevention of Communal and Targeted Violence, Access to Justice and Reparations Bill 2011, it was lapsed in the Parliament. The bill provided for 7 members National Authority for Communal Harmony, Justice and Reparations. It attempted to safeguard the minority section. It had provisions for ensuring accountability of the district administration. This has already been recommended by the Sanchar Committee and Ranganath Mishra Committee. So the role of police in communal rights is highly controversial. Generally, the riot victims complain that police did not came to rescue. So people forces were themselves instrumental in the killing. They led the mob in looting and burning, arrested the innocent people and harassed them inside the lockup, etc. But as we know, the police can act much better if there is a political will and they were given free hand along with the implementation of recommendation police reforms. So their specialized battalions of Rapid Action Force in India, that is RAF, which is a wing of CRPF to deal with riots, riot with situation, crowd control, rescue and relief operations and related unrest. Now let us just briefly understand what are the steps that should be required to take. So the solution of such problems cannot be 1 or 2 steps by the government. Apart from legislative support, administrative efficiency and alertness with the help of modern tools and technology, the major onus lies on the citizens themselves by avoiding the communal violence. Though it is bit of a philosophical in nature, I understand that, but it is not a concrete solution, but the sustainable changes can be brought only by those steps. Each of us have to make a balance between our own religious community and the national interest. We have to unite and nationalism with the nationalism and then should move forward. The teaching of religious community may be great, but the followers of the community concerned should understand that nationalism is greater. If they do not become familiar with this fact, they will be away from national stream. They will suffer. So this fact relates not only to India but also to many other countries of the world. We have to be rational while making decisions. Each and every religious community has been founded on the basis of certain values that were best and necessary for the circumstances of the country and times. So goodness like adjustment with others or cooperation or consistency can be found in their teachings. But by not moving according to the teachings of the religious community, those who depend upon fundamentalism and conservative practices, or those who use their co-religionistic taking advantage of their poverty, illiteracy or innocence, are dishonest towards their own self, their co-religionistic, and also towards those great leaders who founded the religious community. So basically, everyone must understand this fact also. Along with this, leaders of communities, by knowing it, it must come forward for an atmosphere surged with harmony, in which lies their welfare too. So religious teachers should promote rational and practical things through religion promoting peace and security. Policies like appeasement, fun and frolic with sentiments of people for individual and party interest, and selection of candidates on the basis of religious community or sect by keeping aside their qualifications, one certainly does not think against national interest or nationalism, are reflections of lower national thinking. That is why these kinds of acts should be stopped at government level and also at the level of political parties. So there is a great need to work towards eradication of the problem of unemployment among the youths, illiteracy and poverty, that too with honesty without any discrimination. So this will help in solving many problems, I feel, and it will create awakening as well. So the result will be in checking the communalism to great extent. That is why it is expected that a lot of work have to be done at government level in this direction. But whatever have been mentioned in above, whatever that we have discussed, it will be effective only when our society and its citizens become so much capable and empowered that they can take sensible and ethical and rational decisions. So this is only possible with the help of quality education. But again, quality education for such huge population cannot be expected from the public institutions. So it is also the corporate social responsibility. I would say it is the responsibility of the educated Indians, the NRIs and everyone who has roots in India to bring changes in the Indian society so that we can live the ethos of our constitution and would be able to promote international peace and security too. Now media, movies and other cultural platforms can be influential in promoting peace and harmony through all such practices in India are common, but there is still a huge scope for improvement in this direction. So thus, in order to get rid of this problem of communalism in India, there is a need of collective effort, and all will have to discharge their duties basically. If we do, definitely harmony will prevail. Everybody will prosper, and this must be done, and that is what I feel. And this was the dream of Mahatma Gandhi for a free India. Let us now learn the challenge of social media and freedom of what it has got to do with the freedom of expression. So nowadays social media have become notorious for spreading communal hatred. We all know Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp for that matter. So it provides almost instant transfer of provoking material on which our government has no control at all. So it has become a potent tool in the hands of religious bigots and to spread the hatred for other religions. It is true that fundamental rights under Article 19 Clause 1 gives citizens freedom of expression, but proviso to this article also empowers government to impose reasonable restrictions to guard unity and integrity of the country. Further, under Fundamental Duties 51A of the Constitution provides the subclause E, I would quote, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. So this needs to be enforced by state by controlling social media. So in olden days, whenever proactive print media came, government invoked the power and imposed restrictions. But yet government has no strong effective policy towards this social media. Having said that, the topic here comes, how can we conclude this particular topic in a particular summary? So that I can say, communal violence is common nowadays throughout the world. As we all know, they are known as various alternative names in China. The communal violence in Jiang's province is called as ethnic violence. Communal violence and riots have also been called non-state conflict. So violent civil or minority unrest, mass racial violence, social or intercommunal violence, and ethno-religious violence, etc. So violence between Buddhist and Muslims Rohingya inhabitant of Rakhine state, formerly Arakan province, which stretches along most of the Myanmar coast up to the Bay of Bengal and the borders of Chittagong province of Bangladesh, erupted in 2013. Such violence in neighboring countries like Myanmar, Bangladesh and Pakistan causes violence in retaliation in India also. It also catalyzes the problems of refugees, as in case of Pakistani Hindus, etc. Sri Lanka is also facing international crisis, and United Nations related to ethnic clashes and action of government against minority Tamilians, which has direct bearing on India and Sri Lanka relations and India's internal security. So increasing the diversity due to influx of population from all the corners of the world in Western countries like USA, UK, Canada, Australia, etc. is posing a challenge of ethnic clashes and violence in their respective societies. So communalism can be combated with the help of globalization as a tool. In globalized world, all countries are becoming integrated and dependent on each other. Movement of people from one place to another is becoming very easy. In such conditions, to avoid such potential violence, governments are already promoting cultural exchange through shows, programs, heritage walk, cultural visit by students and parliamentarians. So basically promoting learning of each other's local language for easy exchange of ideas. So with respect to this, recently we know the then president of USA, Barack Obama's message on Diwali festival can be seen as an active step to promote cultural mingling and living peacefully. If all the countries cooperate with each other, they can face and solve even the deadliest challenges of terrorism and groups like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, etc. So having said that, let's conclude today's lecture. If you like this video, do hit the like button, and if you are new to our platform, do subscribe to Simple Concepts. Thank you for watching this video.